Hey everybody, welcome back. Final part of Kinetic's EA-6B Prowler in 48 scale. So we're going to wrap it up and do a final reveal. So let's go ahead and get started. On the final stretch now, final part, I'm going to get this model wrapped up. So quick recap from last time, and you can see this is how we're looking. Weathered up, and it's been dry now for a few days, so it's all oil's kind of muted back, and it's looking pretty cool. Now, I do like it with a canopy down with the gold. Even though I spent all that money on the Quintet Studio set, I think I'm gonna keep the canopy down rather than putting it up, and then I can always just lift it off, and you can see right inside, those beautiful instruments and stuff. But I just like the look of it. Often now when I build aircraft, I like canopy down. It just looks, the lines look better, especially with the gold there. I think it looks really nice. So that's where we're looking. So basically what we've got left now is tons of antennas to go all over this thing. We've got the gear to go on, obviously. We've got the refueling probe and a few other little bits and bobs around here. All the pylons and the jamming pods and everything we've built already earlier on, I think part number 2. So gear's really straightforward in this kit. It's just basically one piece for the wheels. It's not like a ton of little parts going in this. So pretty straightforward. You see there's a few struts and stuff. So I'm gonna get to work on the gear. I think that's the first thing we need to do. So I'll get like cut off, painted, and onto the aircraft, and then we can kind of stand it up on its feet. And hopefully it's not a tail sitter. I've had bad luck recently. So the Marauder said 50 grams, and I put more than 50 grams in. It just barely balanced. And this one said 50 grams, and I can't even remember now. It's been a couple of months since I put the nose weight in, how much I put in. So hopefully this isn't a tail sitter either. I know the Hawkeye was, and I had to end up like mounting it onto a base. So we'll see how we go with this one. So yeah, let me get going with the wheels and the building these and the gears, and I'll be right back. So being busy here, working different parts. So got the refueling probe done, and so painted up, ready to go. Attach that shortly, and the gear, which will go on next. So put together, no problem at all. Actually, worked good painted the inner separately, and yeah, attached them on pretty straightforward. Not too many parts. This part broke off, so we need to glue that on. And here's the nose wheel. So yeah, next up really is get these put onto. Now, well, step back. I did give a flat coat to all this too, especially on the bottom where it wears against the shelf. A little bit extra, so the paint's not going to chip away. So ready to put these down onto the fuselage, onto the main aircraft. I'll do it off camera, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. I'm not weathered them yet, but once they're in and all the gear doors on, I'll weather them all at the same time, the same wash, as I always do the Starship filth. Just make a very thin wash, as I've done other parts of this video, and just throw it all over everything, basically, at the same time. So let me glue these on, and we'll see how we're looking. Hopefully not a tail sitter. Right, so we're on, and we're not a tail sitter. Yay! And not worry, because everything else, all the weight we've got left, the pods and stuff, all going to the front of the aircraft, nothing on the back. So what we added, nose weights working sweetly, and having built intruders before, obviously this is a Prowler, I know I'm not going to glue this to the very last thing, because if I glue this on now, as soon as I turn this thing upside down, it's going to snap off. And we've got all kinds of stuff to go on the bottom. We've got antennas and aerials and harm missiles and fuel tanks, all kinds of stuff, gear doors. So long way ahead, but I just want to check in and show you that we are actually on the wheels and we are not tail sitting. So that is awesome. Let me see if I can take my camera off the tripod here, and you can see it. There we go, standing up in all its glory. So there we go. Again, I would mention as well with this, same with the Marauder, there's not much in the way of attachment points for these guys to put them in. Sorry, I might get my tripod set. There we go. It's just really just slapping a bunch of super glue on, hoping for the best. I mean, I just wish some of these manufacturers would make a little bit more heavy-duty kind of attachment points for gear. I'm trying to think of examples, but just good positive kind of areas where you can slot in the gear. And yeah, rather than being just bouncing on a piece of super glue. So if I just flip it upside down, and you can see how we're looking. Again, pins don't really fit in the holes, just a little bit of super glue, and I'm holding everything together there. And there's a nose gear too. So yeah, I think it's going to be okay with the weight. It seems pretty sturdy, but again, I just wish there'd more in the way of positive kind of places to put this stuff, so it all kind of slots in and is a little bit more secure. You know what? I'm going to keep it upside down now, a piece of foam, and I'm going to go ahead and start work on getting the doors ready, gear doors, I think next, all the antennas, and we'll finish up with the pods and the pylons. All right, so final check in before we do the reveal, and as you see, I've added lights and antennas, all that kind of stuff. Now, on the bottom here, I missed it in the instructions, but there's a couple of gaps to fill, I guess, in this version. I'm just going to leave them as is. It's underneath the aircraft. You're not going to see it. I don't want to get a bunch of putty out, start filling and painting, that kind of stuff. But building along at home, just make sure you fill those 2 holes in. I guess I'd missed out the instructions. Like I said, the instructions aren't the best. A little bit cluttered and not the easiest to follow. And also added the lens on the bottom and various other parts weathered up a little bit under there too. And just really need the gear doors to add on. And then once the gear doors are on, it's just basically adding all this stuff we built back on, what, like 2 months ago now. So I think we have 1 harm missile, 3 pods, and 1 fuel tank. I've got to verify that, but we see the final reveal, the next scene, I've done that and added these already. So it's really going to make it look awesome, I think. So the only thing to note is I've been working on the background, just threw together was a little tractor. So this particular version comes in with like power tractor. Yes, it's not bad. I mean, it doesn't go together that great. It's a bit of an afterthought in terms of, but yeah, it is what it is. So I'm just going to throw it together. Got the wheels to do and steering wheel and stuff, and then see a few gaps and stuff, fill the gaps, and then just throw some paint down and see how it looks. And it might look pretty cool next to the aircraft, I'm guessing. So there we go. So I'm going to finish the last few jobs here, and we'll come back and we'll do the final reveal. All right, so we're finished, and there she is, sat behind me on the shelf. Really happy how this one turned out. Just a cool-looking aircraft. I remember back in 2000 or 2001 in the Middle East, seeing these guys take off, and they've always kind of caught my attention. An aircraft that's kind of unusual with the 4 seats, and just a cool-looking aircraft, I think. So again, Kinetic kit. I've built several of these now. The instructions not great, but if you just take your time and dry fit and stuff, I've had no real issues. This one and the Hawkeye up there as well both went together really well. And yeah, they make some interesting subjects. I will say though, the canopy, they're in each one is in 2 pieces, which isn't ideal. Kind of sucks. I wish it was just 1 piece. Now you get together okay, but the problem is during the build process, I think the front one in particular, I probably broke 3 or 4 times. Had to keep gluing back together, filling the seam, and then just painting again. So yeah, comes clear as well. Obviously in real life, these guys are tinted. So I showed you in a painting video how I tinted that. I think especially in the sunlight, it looks absolutely fantastic compared to the real one. I think it looks spot on personally. So that's the trick with the translucent paint, yellow paint, and the gold, as I talked about a few weeks back. Loadout, real life loadout I found online. I did want to get a harm missile on there. So I put 3 pods, 1 fuel tank, and a harm missile on the port wing. And that's exactly how real life they were configured at some point. I did want most of the pictures just have 2 fuel tanks, but I really want to get a harm missile on there to get the white, some visual interest. And there we go. So big one with this one was decals. The decals sucked, the cam decals, and somebody else reached out and told me it's a common problem. They're well known to be bad decals, so beware. The micro scale ones went down a lot better, and in hindsight actually worked out good because the paint scheme on this turned out way better than I had before, because I went to town more on the post shading and weathering this up, and it looks a lot better than before. So it's a blessing in disguise, really, if I have to repaint some of this aircraft. But yeah, there we go. It's say go get one, great kit. If you are using the Kinetic decals in a box, just be warned that the Kinetic decals aren't great either, in my experience. The smaller ones are okay, but when you talk about big whole ones like tails, they're so thick they kind of crack. They don't conform around bumps. They just kind of crack and decal. So aftermarket might be the way to go. Now this one is out of the box pretty much, apart from the cockpit. I think we added the resin seats, which are a cheap upgrade, and also the instrument panel from Quinta Studios, which is very expensive. Now, like me, if you have the canopy down tinted, you don't really see it. So you probably get away without doing that. But if you like to super detail it like I do, and especially the cockpit tubs, I really enjoy doing. I can just lift the canopy off, see inside that beautiful detail, and then just lift it back on. Personally, I just like the look of the aircraft with the canopy down rather than all up. But there we go. Hopefully enjoyed that build series, and if so, I'll see you on the next one, whatever that may be. Couple of usual reminders. If you haven't done so already, please hit the subscribe button. It really helps my channel out. Also have a Patreon account. This was actually a Patreon exclusive. So this went up on Patreon a few months before YouTube, and I put up videos every week on Patreon as well. So there we go. Thank you as always. Have a nice one, and I'll catch you later.